Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous. When it comes to North Korea, we are in a pickle. Thursday morning, Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump's daughter, flew to Seoul, Korea, as senior aide to her dad, the President of the United States, hard as that is to believe. Friday night, she had dinner with South Korea's President Moon Jae-in at the Blue House, which is South Korea's White House. Then she attends Olympic Winter Games Saturday and leads an American delegation to the closing ceremony of the Games on Sunday. South Korean President Moon is expected to give Ivanka a lavish greeting. Why? Because South Korean President Moon hopes to get Donald Trump's approval for an inter-Korean summit with North Korea in North Korea's capital of Pyongyang. This might be tricky. Why? When Vice President Mike Pence went to the South Korean Olympics February 8th, his goal, says Time magazine, was to isolate the North Koreans. Instead, the North Koreans turned the tables on Pence. They dangled a face-to-face meeting in front of his nose, a meeting that was supposed to take place February 10th. Then the North Koreans pulled out at the last minute, leaving egg on Pence's face. Pundits cited the trust factor, and Fox News claimed that the Trump administration had fashioned a clever trap by offering carrots and sticks, talks and a tightening noose of trade sanctions. Frankly, it's hard to see the cleverness, and it's hard to see the trap. But a vice president bearing traps that are advertised in Fox News is not exactly a man to be trusted. Meanwhile, it's useful to understand how Kim Jong-Un sees the situation. In 1910, the Japanese wanted to build an empire like the one the British had. So they annexed all of Korea. They turned Korea into a police state ruled by Japanese police. They took 52% of Korea's land. They built factories. They used the Koreans as farm and factory slaves. They used the Korean women as sex slaves. And they forbade the Koreans to teach their own history and to use their own language. Yes, the Japanese outlawed Koreans' use of their own language. Imagine if that happened to you and me and we were not allowed to speak English or talk of American history. That lasted until 1945, 44 years. And as Kim Jong-un sees it, this humiliation happened because his country was too weak to defend itself. Then his grandfather established the Korean People's Army and, he thinks, set North Korea free. Or so he says. In reality, Korea was liberated by the Russians and by the United States at the end of World War II. And it's hard to call, oh God, turning pages, and it's hard to call a nation with roughly 200,000 political prisoners being worked to death, starved to death, and tortured in prison camps liberated. But here's the result. Kim Jong-un is committed to ensuring that an imperialist invasion never happens again. Today he sees the United States as the greatest imperialist Satan and as his greatest enemy. America is so satanic in North Korean eyes that kids in North Korean grammar schools learn arithmetic by counting the number of dead Americans in their exercise books. There is no likelihood that Kim Jong-un will ever give up his nuclear weapons. Absolutely zero. Which means we have very few choices. We can try to destroy Kim Jong-un's nuclear facilities, assuming we know exactly where they are. We know where the big ones, the flashy ones are that you can see through satellite lenses. But we don't know about the secret ones buried in mountains, hidden deep within them. Okay, this is a problem. The fact is that Kim Jong-un may retaliate with nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles aimed at cities like Washington and New York. He may have those missiles ready already. And he may have them on mobile transport, so it will be hard for us to detect where they are. But to attack Kim's nukes, we'd have to do some tricky diplomacy with Russia and China, North Korea's sponsors. Why? to make sure we don't trigger a global nuclear war. Where are we? Or we can learn to live with North Korea's nukes the way we learned to live with nukes in another country that hates us, Pakistan. There's a messy little detail. North Korea has developed its rockets and its nukes in collaboration with Iran for almost 30 years. So the next nation with nuclear-tipped rockets pointed at us is going to be Iran, unless we figure out something very clever, something a good deal more clever than the tired old carrot of talks and the stick of sanctions. The bottom line is this: North Korea is going to do everything in its power to separate us from South Korea. It's going to sow as much discord as it can. And we've seen how easy it is to sow discord from Russia's leak of Hillary's emails and its promotion of wild ideas like the Pizzagate child sex ring. Give me a break. The ultimate goal of the North is to take over South Korea and to produce a single Korea ruled by the Kim regime. But we, the United States, South Korea, and Japan, have to stick together. Why? Because South Korea and Japan are miracle makers. They are major players in our next generation technologies and in the consumer goods that give us, you and me, new powers. What's more, they are democracies. And we are committed to those who take the path of democracy. This is Howard the Humongous speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make, or, want to know why? Ask how. And now for that sneaky, sleazy, impossible to find, where the hell is it? I got it, I think, little off button.